Hi, my name's Scott Zimmerman with BoxJammer. I'm here today with my good friend Josh Price from LoCo CrossFit in Leesburg, Virginia. Josh has been an affiliate owner for quite some time, and he has been very instrumental in helping me vet out our sales process and our sales conversation. And today, Josh is going to share some of his ideas and his experience in using the BoxJammer sales conversation. So Josh, why don't you talk a little bit about what your sales process was before you and I started working together, and maybe a little bit about what's different and how that's been working for you and your team.
Okay, yeah, so our sales conversation has really evolved over the years. It started with, oh, you want to do CrossFit? Okay. And then we take your money and sign you up. From there, we realized that we weren't serving our community as good as we could and everything. So we went to what another company that I work with, Two Brain, talks about, and that's called a no sweat intro. So in the no sweat intro, we would sit down, we would talk about goals and everything, and then we would then put together a package or something for this person to start. It usually was some type of fundamentals package, maybe PT, really developed off of those goals. So what Scott brought, I would say is kind of that same process, but more robust on steroids even. What he brought to us was this idea of not just talking about the goals of the person, but like intimately knowing that person. All right, knowing, why they're there to the furthest degree, like, what happened? Was there a trigger event? How do they feel about this? How do they feel about this process that they're about to go through? How long do they think it's going to take? Just every single bit, and then taking all of the information that we glean from that person and then putting it into a system that all of the coaches then share and then know that person. So when they come to class, when they come to do PT with somebody, to do anything in that gym, the coaches make them feel just very, very important and welcome throughout the process. Now, and what he also taught us was that conversation continues over time, that we continue to readdress and get to know them and see where their goals are changing and see where their life is changing, and just continue that I don't know, it's like love, that care for every client that walks through the door.
Would you say that we're doing a much better job at letting people sell themselves, that this is the right thing to do and the right place to do it with the right people?
Yeah. So before, I think we really focused on the goals, and there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, because when you're focusing on the goal, you're focusing on what the person told you that they wanted. However, what I think we've really realized is what they tell me what they want and what they really want aren't often the same thing. And when you really start to get to know that person, that's when you really start hearing the true goal. You hear, what needs to be fixed. And a lot of times it's a sense of belonging and community that will come through losing weight and getting stronger and everything. And the people that we've had already, last week we had 2 people come in, both signed up for PT packages at a monthly rate of about $1,300 between the 2 of them, which is really, really nice. But the best thing about it was when I made the recommendation for what they were going to do, I really knew that it was going to fit what these 2 people really needed. In the past, I would have tried to just pigeonhole them into something that we offered. All right. And a lot of times that would have been based on my own fears and everything, like, oh, they're not going to want to pay that much money, because I wouldn't want to pay that much money. But that's not fair to that person, and that's not taking care of that person. When they say, here is what I need, and I say, okay, this is what we have, and then I offer anything less than that, then that's fear. It's fear talking. So I think that using this process, looking at that person and telling them, this is the best for you. We will get you where you want to go. It frees you up. It frees you up to be authentic, with that person.
Well, I'd like to give you an example in my case. It is very common for people to project onto another person their own feeling of money. And it's really not fair to the other person we're speaking with. So in my case, if my coach had asked me, Scott, if we get you in really, really good shape, how would that impact your career? I would have said, well, number one, I'm a public speaker. And to be able to walk across that stage looking like a really fit 50-year-old would have led to a lot more follow-up workshops and seminars and repeat business with the client, just because I'd have more confidence, more energy, more focus. And I'm sure that would have projected into my speeches. And in my mind, I'm thinking, I get $7,500 a pop for these things, sometimes a little bit more, depending on how big the event is. If I could just sell 2 or 3 more of those a year, which I naturally would, I don't care what you guys are charging, but there's 20 grand I'm about to put in my pocket year in and year out, not even including follow-up seminars and consulting and coaching. So if somebody told me, hey, Scott, what you need is $500 per month for 6 months for PT, and then after that, it's only $200 per month, I'd be thinking, that's nothing. We're going to go get that, in the first few months, or whenever I start dropping this weight and I start sleeping better and my confidence goes up. I don't care about the money going out. I just know it's going to be more money coming in. So, and again, the mindset on this process isn't required really for a 22-year-old who's been CrossFitting for 2 years and shows up at your box and signs up. What we're talking about is the future of CrossFit and going after the people who are unathletic and overweight and intimidated by what they've seen on TV. So the mindset is, let's just find a way to help this person get started doing something. So when you go into a conversation with a new prospect, you really don't care if you want to help them start walking or jogging or rowing. It doesn't matter. You want to get them moving their body and doing it habitually long enough so it creates a new mindset. Their subconscious mind starts to enjoy exercising and moving their body. And that's really the focus that we're talking about. So as you're leading someone through those questions, the questions may seem uncomfortable for you to ask at first, but with a little bit of practice, you'll begin to understand they're designed to get that person to open up to you, but more important, to emotionally bond with you because they know you genuinely care about finding something that gets them off the couch and moving their body on a regular basis. Can you share a little bit about your experience either using that process or going through that process, Josh?
Yeah, I can kind of talk about the 2 guys from last week. What was interesting is one of them was somewhat overweight and everything. He had been physically fit, but what was interesting is he's trying to go to the Sergeant Major Academy for the Army, and it has very specific guidelines in which he has to meet, and he is overweight, and his PT score is lower than where it needs to be. And to him, it was very simple. He actually bought a $1,000 PT package, and with that, he's going to be getting nutrition. He's going to be getting specific workouts to work on the PT aspect, but also to then just to bring up his general physical fitness. If it hadn't been for the process and everything, what I would have done is just sold him a fundamentals package, put him into CrossFit. Probably not asked, why are you really here? Because the goal that I got was I need to lose 20 pounds and I need to be more fit. But as I started asking these questions, then I find out, oh, this guy's trying to go to Sergeant Major Academy. We actually do need to be a little bit more specific to get his push-ups, his sit-ups, and his run-up, as well as his weight down. So that was pretty big. The other guy that I had come in.
I have one question about the first gentleman. Do you have any idea, or could we Google the amount of a pay raise between, I'm guessing, an E8 and an E9?
We could.
It's probably quite substantial, though, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And so for this gentleman, over the course of a year to maybe drop $2,500, $3,000 with you and your team would be chump change compared to what that would do for the rest of his military career and what his pay grade would be. Was that a fair guess?
Yeah, and his retirement, because once he hits,
true.
Yeah, because once he hits his retirement age too, it'll just continue on in perpetuity. So
when you got to know what he wanted to do and why he was losing that 20 pounds, what he really wanted to do is to score as high as possible on the upcoming PT tests. And was there a specific date for that, or he could go take the test whenever he felt he was ready? Any idea?
Actually, he told me it's monthly right now. He has to maintain his physical readiness right now because of the academy monthly.
Okay.
So he's got to get it up immediately, and then he's got to maintain that. So for us, we're really looking at probably a 3-month curve up, and that's when he'll basically, I guess he gets to submit which one he wants. Mm-hmm. So we'll have that curve up. He'll submit that one, and then we'll maintain him until he leaves.
Well, what I remember, and I don't know if it's still true, but is the PT test in the military still push-ups, sit-ups, and running?
Yes.
So that's some things he could be doing on his off days outside of the box to begin augmenting what you're doing to coach him. And what about the second person that came in and spoke with you last week?
So the second person was a salesperson, actually works for Salesforce, and he was very fit already. You could see that, but I still went through the process with him. Like Scott said, maybe it's not as important and everything, but what I wanted to do was still take somebody through that process that was fit, that was a salesperson, because I wanted to just still fill them out completely and know this person. And basically what I found out is that he does a lot of running on his own. He does go to a local gym and everything, but he was really looking for something new, something different. So when I asked him about goals, he really didn't have any, So in the past, that would have been a hard conversation. All right, this person doesn't have any goals. So where do I go? How do I, make a recommendation now? But as I talked to him, I found out, he's got 2 3-year-olds that he doesn't travel as much anymore. So he's not in front of people. So this isn't going to affect his career as much. But what we're really talking was longevity and something novel, something new. So for him, I knew that just offering a fundamentals package was actually the right thing for him. We didn't necessarily need PT. We didn't need it for any specific thing. And once again, it made me feel very authentic to just say, okay, hey, for you, let's go fundamentals package, 6 PT sessions on that. And then you can go to group, or if you want to go to group. And once again, I knew I was offering the best thing for him. And you can see the difference between the two.
Right.
There's specificity and general fitness.
Right.
And it allowed me to make the best for both.
Well, one thing that I've learned in studying the behavioral styles is if that gentleman's in sales, he probably has a little bit of a competitive streak in him. Mm-hmm. And I would have asked him, do you by nature like friendly competition? If his answer was yes, I would have recommended that he spend $4 on an app like MyWad or whatever that would be, so he can watch his numbers go up. That way he can compete with himself, because if he's drawn to CrossFit because it's constantly varied and he likes that mixing it up, I also think you could add to it by him watching himself improve. His Fran time coming down, his weightlifting going up. Salespeople like to be engaged, and I would and again, this is something that maybe you can put in the software so the other coaches know who he is, why he's here. And maybe over time, you could ask him enough questions just in a friendly way, in a very non-formal way. Do you like to compete, and would you like our help in watching you track your numbers?
Right. Yep.
Things of that nature. And then also, he's somebody that when you watch him lift weights, he probably would like to become very proficient in his weightlifting. And if he is competitive, then you could just gently suggest, anytime you're ready, we can do one-on-one skill sets on your weightlifting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And just offer and let him decide what he would like to buy as well. Did the subject of his wife working out ever come up?
So both wives are extremely fit triathletes. So I offered, at any time if they wanted to come in, and both decline. They said that
Okay.
that where they're at right now, they've made it abundantly clear that they're happy.
Okay. About how old were both of these people, roughly?
Let's see, 35 and 40.
Okay. What I would have done is said, the door is always open for your spouses, but I'm glad to hear they found things that they love to do. I would have just said, one thing to caution about is that repetitive running is very hard on the body. And distance running over time can really take a toll on one's hips, one's knees, one's lower back. And I think I may be right on this, but hasn't CrossFit proven to help triathletes and marathoners improve because they're overall stronger? And that carries over into the running, the swimming, and the bicycling?
Yeah, it helps to stave off injuries and everything, the weightlifting and everything. Yep.
Okay. So I might have just gently suggested that too. Plus you're in Virginia, and I would have said, no, this is the time of the year when the weather starts turning. And, you know, if they don't feel like running in the snow and the sleet, there's a lot they could do here in the box. It would really keep them entertained and moving forward. So again, I would have just planted a little seed, let them figure it out on their own. And then I'd kind of like to close this by saying that the questions are worded in such a way where you're pulling information out of the other person. And as coaches and affiliate owners, I think it's going to be very important for you to know that I don't want you to be a great salesperson. I want you to help the other person become a great salesperson.
Right.
And sell themselves that, boy, this really sounds like the right program, the right coaches, the right community. I think I'm home. And when it's the other person's idea that they believe this is the right thing to do, they'll never argue with themselves. And then most importantly is that you want to find out from their perspective, their long-term reason for being here, and then their short-term. How will you measure success and by when? And then when that all goes into the software, it'll be shared automatically with all the other coaches. And then one last suggestion that we're kind of trying out here with Josh and a couple other two-brain mentors is if you do have monthly coaches meetings, and if the person gives you permission, say, I'd just like to take a picture, you know, from here up, just so the other coaches will recognize you when you come in, you could bring that picture and then their story into your monthly meeting and then be ready to tell all the other coaches that person's story. What it's going to do is get the other coaches up to speed on who that person is, a little bit about their personality, why they're there, what they're excited about, what they're fearful about. But it's going to force you to get to their story, knowing you have to tell it to other people. That alone should slow you down, make sure you're taking better notes, and also helping that person take better notes as well. So, Josh, I appreciate your help. Certainly, if anybody has any questions as you're going through the sales training and you get stuck, my cell number is 330-618-4251. You can call me, you can text me, and I'll help you get you unstuck because I need for you to master the sales conversation because over the length of your career, your ability to get great at this is going to determine tens, if not hundreds of people choosing to say yes to come coach with you and work with you and train with you. But think about all the referrals that that person's going to bring, as well as the people that they've referred in. So the snowball effect of all the skills you can pick up as a coach or a trainer, or in this case, please start calling yourself a wellness mentor. As a wellness mentor, your ability to connect with other people and to get to their story in an emotional way for them is going to have a huge positive impact on the rest of your career. So Josh, thanks again. I appreciate everybody listening in. And again, if you get stuck at any time, I'm here to help. 330-618-4251. Scott Zimmerman signing off.